Hey everybody, Jake here from Clinetimephotography. What is going on? So, the Ford. I know you guys I've had a couple people ask me, got some questions about the rock sliders for the Ford, whether or not they were bolt-on, how they were built, and everything like that. So, I kind of want to take time and kind of show you because I know a lot of you guys have questions on them and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and walk through them real quick. I'll show you kind of what some of the stuff I had in mind when we were building them. They've been on the Ford for about I think we're going on almost 4 years now. They've been on there for a while. So, yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about kind of the overall layout right here. So we go from cut off right here, just behind the tire on the front, to just in front of the tire right here on the back. So my thought process was I want to try and keep this close enough to where if there is a rock that slides past, that it would kind of catch the tire before it kind of came up. So that was kind of the thought process. If you wanted to build these yourself, I guess theoretically you could come all the way back to like right here. Again, you just got to be kind of careful, obviously, with the tire. If you go with a bigger tire and what your spacing right here is going to be and everything like that. So, yeah, that's for the rear. Coming back up to the front here, same exact concept. You know, you really got to watch your spacing between here and here and making sure that whatever you're going to be using for, like if you're going to be running a bigger tire and taking all this off and your tire is going to be closer, then obviously you want to make a bigger gap. So that was kind of the thought process there. We also, this is 2-inch, I think we used 2x4 steel, 3/16 thick. And then what we also did, as you can see here, is kind of angled it. So the purpose of doing that was if you get a rock here, the theory is that it would kind of deflect off of here a little bit, as opposed to if this is flat and then it being like getting jammed in here and then it kind of like wedged in between the two. So that was kind of the theory behind that. I don't believe I've had that problem yet, but that was just kind of a good way. And then it kind of gives it a little bit of style too. You know, it's kind of cool having it not just completely squared off like that. And then of course, you know, we went through and capped everything as well. Okay, so this is one of the front trusses for the sliders. So as you can see, we welded these things onto the frame. So here you can see all the welds and stuff like that. Welds weren't very pretty when we built these things back. Me and my buddy up the street that helped me build, we were kind of just starting to get into welding. So back then it was if you can't weld, weld a lot. So that was kind of our mindset with these. But however, they've worked out super solid. Uh, for I kind of did some research. You know, again, this is back when we were first kind of started building stuff and started getting into welding and everything like that. So one thing I did learn is that when you weld sliders onto your frame, you want to make plates here. So that way, when the slider is bending, it's not bending your frame. So basically what you're doing is you do a plate here, and that way when it's here, it's not like flexing the frame and everything like that. And that's what these plates are supposed to help for. I always talk about if I could have done it differently. Probably what I would say is if anybody that wants to build these, maybe just make your support plates a lot bigger. So like, you know, if your truss is, let's say these ones going to cross are this big, you maybe want to make them like that big, just to kind of help evenly distribute the weight and so it's not bending and stuff like that. If that kind of makes sense. But as far as the trusses going across, we did 3 of them. So we did this one up here at the front, this one here in the middle, and then that one in the back. We'll talk about that one there in a little bit. That one's the one that was a little funky. Again, if you do these for your truck or your F-150, I would probably add a 4th one going across right here, just because you have such a large span. I mean, this is probably, I'd say, close to 3 feet going from this support to that support all the way over here. So I would probably, if you guys do one of these, try and do another support here. It might be a little tricky because you do have these This is your e-brake cable right there. So just kind of figuring out how to kind of make that work. But yep. So let's come back to this one. Okay. So this was the one that was a little funky. To do this, basically, what we did was here we welded the 2" by 4" truss here just before this is one of the bed frame mounts here. So welded it just in front of that, brought it down, obviously welded it on both sides. We capped the top. You want to definitely make sure you do that. That way it kind of keeps any water or anything coming out from going inside of here. And then brought it down here and then did another 2" by 4" truss and then ran it across this way just like so. Something else that you could do as well to kind of help with like the flexing and everything like that is possibly put like a triangle piece right here. Another way of maybe distributing the weight. This is all just kind of food for thought stuff if you're thinking about building these. So you put a triangle here because these do when I'm jacking the truck up using my high lift jack, they will flex quite a bit. So one of the ways you can do is mitigate that is to just do another support there. And then obviously here, back to these, we did cap these off as well. So yeah. So that's basically them in a nutshell. Per welding 3" by 3/16 steel thickness, you probably will need a 210 welder or 220 or whatever it's called. So you're going to need a bigger welder just because that way you get that good just penetrating power to be able to weld stuff like this and make sure it's welded all the way through. Fortunately, the only thing we had at the time was a 110, and then we used a flux core. So it's worked. It's awesome. But I would recommend if you do this yourself to get a bigger welder. That way you're really making sure that you are just getting that good solid penetration. And then something else that I wanted too is you can see the sliders at the bottom are level with the frame. So see how we kind of have that, it's frame, flat across, slider. So the thought process behind that was if I know the bottom of the sliders are rubbing, I know I got to be careful of anything else that hangs lower than the frame. So, here we kind of have like our transmission cross members right here, our exhaust, so a couple other little things. That was something that I personally wanted, so that way I kind of knew that if I was rubbing on these, to kind of something to think about. And the other option that offers too is, if you look here, it gives you just enough room for a nice little footstep. So that way if you need to climb up the truck and get anything up off of the racks or anything like that, you have the ability to do so. So yeah, that worked out really well. They've been super solid. Love these things. Unfortunately, I did install them a little too late. I crushed my other side a little bit on a big ass rock, and after that, Cole's walking around the background. After that, I figured I probably need to make them. So we did that. Built them literally, I think, like a week or 2 weeks after I did that. Learned my lesson the hard way, unfortunately. And then we also, for durability, covered it with the bed liner just for kind of that really just strong, gritty texture. And then this works really good too because when it gets wet or anything like that, it kind of gives you like a little bit of a grip when you step on it and everything like that as well. You could do tube sliders theoretically. Personally, I don't have a tube bending machine or anything like that, so it'd be a little bit harder. And then the other thing is too is I've always liked the flat sliders. So yeah, but yeah, if you guys got any questions, please let me know, and see you guys next time. Later.